Okay, Theo, welcome to the show. Thanks
Hey,
for
thank
coming
you,
on.
Justin.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
of course. Yeah, so I guess let's start with just a little bit of background on you and the company that you represent here, and also your position there, your role.
So basically, I'm a CEO of Vault. The domain is vault.studio. That's the website. And basically, it's a company where we supply all the finished materials for any types of project. It can be someone looking to flip a house or someone that has a house for 30 million. No matter what the size of their project, we supply materials for them.
Okay. And so, like, what would be an example of like, is it like just all the materials that you would possibly need?
So it's finished product. So cabinets, uh, tile, flooring, you name it. We carry over 600 vendors that we source globally. And so that allows us to have a lot of flexibility in terms of who we can supply. I have a guy right now we're talking to. He's flipping 12 units. He bought 12 small units and he's flipping them. So we're putting really affordable materials in there so he can can make a large profit. And on the same time, I'm working in five different over $15 million house where we're putting cabinets.
Okay, so and that's more like just like you're working with the homeowner on that one.
Both actually. We work, I would say half and half. Half is B2C where the customers coming in wants to get quality products, doesn't quite like what the contractors is supplying. And then the other side is contractor, architect, or interior designer. They're kind of educated about the difference between material quality that comes to us and then brings their client and we work for them. So it's really 50-50, I would say right now.
Okay, okay. Yeah, has it always been that way, or is that kind of was it? Did it used to lean more towards one or the other?
Um, I would say most of the biggest challenge is that the homeowners is usually more educated. So some architects and interior designers are educated up to a certain extent, but general contractors are used to their own way. So they're used to people they work with, and they really don't spend the time to educate themselves. So it's been really difficult to do B2B for many years because it's a lot of educational things that we have to do. And most of the clients that come, they're like, yeah, I'm aware. I've seen it online. That's what I want. And I know the quality. I know the origin. I know that's what I need. And so
Right.
it started a lot of B2C. And then we're taking that route of educating basically the trade to show them different options that where they might actually make more money, have less headache, but they just didn't know about it because they didn't go to a trade show, or they don't have the access to the information, and they just don't have the time to look into it. That's the
Right.
biggest problem.
Okay. And so, and you're the CEO. How long have you been there with the company?
Um, so I bought the company in 2023. That was actually started by my dad. Before this, I had my own that I built in Florida, which at the time we carried 1,200 vendors. So I spent like almost a year building this concept that was incredible. We exploded, but then COVID took the best out of me. So I restarted from zero and a lot of debts. So that was kind of unpleasant.
Yeah.
And then I decided we tried to do a transition with my dad because we had a similar concept, but you know, here for the same person. So that created some unwanted friction. And so after doing this for 3 to 4 months, I decided to put an offer. And then I'm buying it from him over time, basically.
Okay. Okay.
And so beginning of 2023, that's when I became the CEO. And then I started changing a lot of things. I basically threw oil on the fire and said, let's go. We need to grow. We need to change. And it's been fun since.
Yeah. So you started in Florida, or at least that's where your dad started. So what brought you to the other side of the country?
So not quite. We started actually in Santa Barbara in California. That's
Okay.
where my dad and my family moved about 2009, so many years ago. And I went to Florida because we had a partner that wanted to open a showroom, and I went to open the showroom. But things were not aligned. He wanted to do different things. He wanted to do condominium. We wanted to do high-end luxury homes. So I went there, but then I left that partnership and started my own showroom. That one was a long story. And then when COVID happened, I moved back to the Bay Area And then from there, I was like, okay, my dad is getting to a point where his heart is going to give up. So if he keeps his stress level, so I think it's step by step back in. And then I went back with my dad and started helping him out and then took over.
Okay, I see. And so are you the only owner?
Uh, Currently, so let me make this long story short. So
Yeah.
what ended up happening is that we did this for 2 years. I worked on the showroom, changed the concept a little bit. And then since then, we are doing a partnership with a showroom here in Palo Alto, and we also opened a satellite office in Malibu. So I faced the challenge when I saw the speed at which my business was moving. I was like, okay, I want to grow. I want to open multiple locations. That service that we provide is helping out a lot of people now. How can I do it on a bigger scale? How can we help more people? And instead of finding ways to finance and purchase new store and things like this, I decided to find alliances that had existing store that we could do or complementary, or that we have a similar concept that we align in terms of vision. And since then, I found two partners. One in Malibu that focuses mostly on Windows. So he provides his Windows and I provide everything else. So we're working perfectly.
Hmm.
And then in Palo Alto, I found this partner that has an identical concept of mine, except that his sales is slightly different. He has a large construction company, really large, and he built his own showroom to supply his construction company. But so his lead flow comes from his construction company. Mine in Santa Barbara comes from people in the street, like basically like finding us on Google, word to mouth. So with the Palo Alto store, we have the same business concept but different lead flow. So I decided, I said, okay, we're gonna partner. I'm gonna take over, and now I'm taking over all the stores basically. So
Wow.
we have different owners, but I'm the CEO. I'm managing and running the show basically.
Okay, I see. So and how long ago was that kind of partnership?
It's
So
happening
that's
as we speak.
okay.
It's
So
been in
so
the
very
progress
new.
for the last 4 months, basically. Just it's a process.
Yeah. Right. Because I guess that kind of changes the company that you started is kind of very different than this one. It sounds like.
Yes, in a way, and then it's a way also to double my revenue in less than 6 months. In a way
Eh,
of speaking, so without
Yeah.
having to really invest a lot of cash out of pocket to open another store and wait for it for 6 months to start bringing money. So we're
Right.
immediately doubled.
Yeah. And does the kind of like the business, itself, like as far as like the team goes, I mean, like, are you now in charge of a lot like more people, and like what is the size of the team right now?
The team now is without the remote people, we're 13. So
Okay.
we have two teams, almost identical teams. So that's something that we've done the last 3 months is we have make sure that we have similar profile in both showrooms. So
Yeah.
when we create our processes, when we work and we teach people how to do certain things, they basically we have a mirror image and we can teach everybody how to work the same way. So it's been quite fun, and that's why it's taking so long. It's to align everybody and explain the vision and just make sure that everybody works the same in the same direction.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And so you mentioned that where are you originally from? Because you said that you came in 2009. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm originally from France.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
cool. Yeah. I'm out in Europe right now, so that's kind of fun.
definitely.
What was that?
No, go for it. Go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna ask what brought you to the States.
My family and my mom at the time was working. She was working for Johnson and Johnson, and
Okay.
she had the opportunity to come work here. So she took us all at that time and brought us to Santa Barbara.
Nice.
It
And that's
made
when your dad kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I said it made it easier than most people, I would say.
Yeah, right. And so your dad kind of started the company, what you kind of like bought from him. So was that what he was doing in France?
Not at all. Well,
Oh,
not at all. My dad worked. My dad was a chef when he started.
wow. Okay.
Like my great grandparents had like a Michelin star. We had a really big hotel restaurants in Paris. He did this for many
Wow.
years. Then when I was born, he decided that the hours of working 20 hours a day was just crazy and he would not see me. So then he went back and opened. What did he open? He opened at the time, and that was like many years ago. The first mobile car wash. They come to your
Oh,
house and they come to your car, they wash it. And then he got seen by Migwires at the time, which is one of the largest product company for car in the US. And then they put him VP as France. They managed the France department, grew the sales, grew the business. And then we bought a house in the south of France, and then he redid a house for 4 years by himself, the whole
oh,
house, which we ended up selling, making great profit on when we moved to California, even though it was in 2008, 2009. So
yeah.
that worked out well. And then from there, he got a passion. He looked at buying businesses and he bought a really small flooring store that was just selling
Hmm.
flooring. And then every year after this, he doubled the revenue.
And double the revenue because he started kind of like adding on other services or
That's one
products, I
thing.
guess.
Yes. The first thing that he did is he went from the guy that was selling everything and he narrowed it down to more luxurious and unique products. So it kind of defined more of a niche. And then
Yeah.
the next thing that he did is after this, he started answering. Next door, we had a guy that was doing upholstery. He was about to retire. And we said, okay, you know what? We'll take over. We'll buy your business. So he bought that business. And then after this, we started expanding into kitchen. So 4 years down the road, after doing only floor, he decided to add kitchen services from Italy. And so we had another revenue stream that came in. Like the first year, I think they did $1.2 million in kitchen sales. And so
Wow.
every year we started doing this, and I just did the same kind of thing, except that I took it on another scale. Like my dad used to carry probably 90 to 110 brands. So it would curate to like more the modern clientele, the more high-end modern clientele. And I took that and I scaled it where now we do, of course, the modern high-end. We do also the traditional high-end. And then we also do people that are more on a budget. There are developers. Like we work with a lot of developers and that people that are
Hmm.
more cost conscious because it's not their home, it's they look at it as an investment. So you put all of those and then basically we have a really scalable business.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it sounds like there's been so I guess when did you kind of get started in the business?
Huh. Um, the first thing is my background was in e-commerce. So my first
Okay.
company when I was really young is I started an e-commerce company. So that was really not a direction I was planning on doing home remodel. And initially I was completely against doing what my dad does. I was like, if my dad
Yeah.
does, I'm not gonna do it. I was that kind of kid. I'm like, I want to do my own thing, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
My company, my first company, I was really young. I think we accidentally raised money when we was like 20 something, 21, 22. And things went well for many years. And after I had to consider and to look at it, we were selling iPhone accessory. Things were changing all the time. So at that time, I had a lot of marketing experiences. I was one of the first one to advertise on Facebook. So you see all those
Hmm.
gurus selling you, oh, I did $100,000 this year, this month. I did this 10 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
and we were doing hundreds of $1,000s a month, and I never sold a master class or anything. Like, it was just my business. At the time, like teaching people how to do online stuff was not the cool thing. So
Right.
I did e-commerce like this for 3 to 4 years. And then after this, I had a lot of experience in marketing. Marketing was changing. Like it was more digital, Instagram, things like this. So I went and worked with my parents. I said, "Hey, my company is going to hell. I need a fallback." So I came back to my parents and I worked on their marketing to basically take what they had and help them scale. I
Okay.
did this for a year almost. And then an opportunity came to go to Miami. A partner wanted to open a store. So always like selling. It was easy. It's natural for me to talk to people because the beauty about our concept is I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm
Hmm.
here to ask you the right kind of questions, understand what you need, and then I'll go find the product that you need. I'm not going to tell you, hey, my kitchens are the best kitchen. This is also why I built this concept, is because I don't want to be that type of person saying, I have one kitchen to sell. When you come to see me, I say, I have the best kitchen. This is the best kitchen you can buy. When we built the concept, I met over, with 1,200 reps, I probably met over 6 months, I would say 500 reps. Every single one of them had the same conversation. My product is the best. I have the best pricing. Whatever you need to call me. But when you meet 60 different countertop companies, you kind of have to start looking into who is actually what product makes what difference. And so that really brought me to build the concept down the road of being able to really weed out the bad one. And because you can tell me it's the best one, but it's the best for who? Is it the best for someone that's like, that has $2,000 that wants to flip, or someone that has a $30 million home? And that's
Yeah.
where a lot of the learning in the industry, people don't know because they don't have access to that information. And they haven't spent a year like me trying to figure it out. And having like,
Right.
I swear to you, we had, I don't know, 6, 7 meetings of every rep that would almost take an hour because they all had to tell us how amazing they were. And then at the end of the day, you're like, I heard the same thing 7 times. And so
Yeah.
what's the difference? So to finish answering your question, when that partnership went into Miami, I said to my parents, I said, Santa Barbara is really cute, really small. Ship me out. I'll go there. I had a little money saved. I bought myself a car. We got an apartment. And then I started the business there. And that's how I got into it, slowly, by expanding my parents' business. And then
Yeah.
after, I just got hooked on it. Like being able to do what we do and service people and really help them make their vision a reality. And it's truly a vision because you visualize, or you don't visualize, but what you would want to be in, what you want to live in the next 5 years. I just get hooked on that feeling. I get hooked on
Hmm.
service people and providing the best we can and avoiding them making mistakes. That's my drug, if you could say it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. And so, yeah, there's a couple of things I want to touch on. The marketing aspect. So you were marketing for e-commerce and you were good at that, right? And like you felt very confident with that. And then you went to marketing this, which is much more like local. Was there kind of like a different approach, or did the same principles that you used for marketing an e-commerce brand work for a local?
So they do work to a certain extent. It's completely different.
Yeah.
When you do e-commerce, you're looking at a global network, right? You're looking at your clients being everywhere. I sold $30 phone cases with a CPA, and for some who do not know, it's cost per acquisition of, at the time I was at $6. So like every time I send $6 in a day, I would sell a phone case. And so I could scale it to $1,000 to 1,000 units a day with just like sitting on my computer and watching it, making me money. Like I had a thing in the morning, I would not wake up if my Shopify didn't make me $1,000. I would just literally grab my phone. I would look at it. And I'm like, $1,000, 970. Okay, I'll sleep for another 20 minutes. Up, about $1,000. Okay, I'll get my coffee. Those were great days. So
Wow.
marketing was completely different because you would have basically a wide reach, and Facebook and Instagram at the time would do everything for you. It was a little more complicated now. The algorithm is more simple, but at the time you had to be a little more tweaking. But then when I came to the space of retail, so first of all, my parents never advertised besides in magazine. So that
Okay.
was like something that was, for me, that was shocking. It was word to mouth. So you have to do good quality projects for people to refer you. And then the rest was magazine. And then I saw what we were spending in magazine. I think at the time we were spending almost 50K a year in magazine,
Wow.
but impossible to track who's coming for what or who actually saw it. Right. It's like
Right.
when the first people came in, I was like, did you see the magazine? No, no. Some people,
Hmm.
yes, maybe 3 out of the year came and said, yeah, oh yeah, I saw you guys in the magazine. And they actually, one person even came with the magazine, I think in a year. And I'm like, so we spend 50K, maybe you get 4 clients. I was like,
Yeah.
that's not worth it. So one of the first things
Right.
that I did is actually ditch the magazine. This is something, the magazine, I would invite to do once you're big enough, that you have the marketing budget, that you're the Rolex of your local area, that people do know you, and it's a reassurance. People see in the magazine, they're reassured that 2 years ago they made a good decision, and they're reassured that they can refer you to someone else because you are in the local magazine. But
Yeah.
then what I ended up having to do is, like, when you do advertising, it's a different monster when you have local stores. Everybody has their different ways. I've tried almost everything. I would say Facebook and Instagram is great, but the quality of the lead is more, the people are more opportunistic. So we did a campaign, for example, where we offered bathroom a steeply discounted rate. That's the words they use. I got
Okay.
22 leads, 22 actual meeting in a month. Out of those, only two were actually quality customers. All the other one were like, oh, I saw that you have this. Can I spend $10,000 in remodeling my bathroom? No, you can spend 30,000, but instead of 50, you'll spend 30. So that was like the quality of the leads was not great.
Hmm.
The one that we are finding that are great, but it takes a little bit of time is the Google. Like, and you and me, we're looking for how you approach your way if you want to remodel something. First, you're going to talk to your sister in the same area. You're going to talk to your friend. You're going to say, hey, who you use for your bathroom, right?
Right.
Those people, the chances of them referring you are really high because they just don't know anybody else. So, or they're going to tell you it's horrible, don't use them. Like, that's the guy, don't use them. Or 6 months after they forgot the problem and they're going to say, yes, use this guy. But he was at the end, he was like struggling, but he made it work. Look, the bathroom looks beautiful. So that's number one. People,
Yeah.
when you're going to spend a big amount of money, like 10, 20, 30, $100,000, you want to have someone that you trust. You won't just take your bullshit and say, oh, I've never made 2 years, 50K, right? So that's the number one. That's why like cultivating your pre-existing customer, making sure that you end up every job really well is amazing. The second is you're gonna go online because your friend didn't do a modern kitchen. You have three friends in town, right? You just moved in there, you bought a house, or you have people that have a really traditional look and you want something really modern. So you're gonna go online, you're gonna set modern Italian kitchen or whatever product you know. And at that point, whoever comes up first is who you're gonna go see. Then you're gonna take your little car and you're gonna go around and find the showrooms that you think will fit, and whoever's the best salesperson at the time is basically is going to be the one that's going to be successful. So
Hmm.
it's a completely different advertising process. What we're doing right now in the new campaigns that we're doing is we found out that if people know you before they come to the meeting, if they've seen your face, they're more likely to buy with you. Even if you send them to a team member and you end up not being present yourself, but they've seen your face, they know your reputation, they're a lot more likely. So what we're doing is we're actually advertising on Google for specific keywords like appliances, kitchen remodel, bathroom models to get the people to come in. And then from there, we are retargeting them on social media. So,
Okay.
and then within that time period that they're coming to see or that they set up an appointment or they're thinking about it, they're going to start seeing my face, seeing products that we're carrying, and it's slowly going to start clicking. And when they come in the showroom, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I feel like I know you. You know, we all have that feeling. You see someone like a famous, like, or Mosey, like I saw him at a conference, and I'm like, this is my buddy. I know him. I've
Yeah.
seen him. I see him on the daily basis. The guy has no idea who you are, but we feel like we know him.
Right.
Same
Yeah,
concept.
totally.
It's the same concept.
Right. And so are you kind of utilizing more of just like an organic kind of like SEO, or are you paying for, like Google like ads?
I'm big for Google. My experience with SEO has been terrible. I know a lot of people it's been successful with, but it takes a long time. So it's something there's, I don't anticipate that much. When I buy a business, I need tomorrow get leads. So
Hmm.
we technically should have more SEO being done, but it's always an investment. I've never had personal good experience with it. A lot of people do recommend it, but I've never found a good team that could like create me an SEO and not try to charge me an arm and a leg to get it done, basically.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of like SEO agencies that are just kind of I feel like disappointing. I know that like the churn rate for an SEO agency it's like 3 months or something, or maybe it's four, but it's not good. The
It
the
kind of,
satisfaction is not great.
yeah, it kind of, I've went through dozens of marketing guys over the years. And what I found out, and myself, I had a marketing company, but at some point I was like, I just can't
Mm,
do it myself. I need to hire people that are qualified. And then when I took a break from marketing to this, I didn't have a team anymore. And over the years, I've interviewed dozens of guys, and half the time they're like, yes, 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 we can, and they cannot. So what happened, and I've done it
mm,
myself, unfortunately, is you end up being successful in one company and you're like, wow, I can replicate it. It's going to be easy. But if it's
mm,
not the identical same company, it's almost you're starting from scratch. So yes, you can sell underwear and tomorrow you sell another underwear as a marketing company. But if the quality of the pictures is not the same, the price point is slightly different. The approach is
Mm.
going to be different. The learning curve is going to be different. So it's kind of the same in our industry. A lot of guys say, like I had that guy, he was actually really honest. He's like, no, I only know how to do this. I only do steeply discounted bathroom. Anything else you need, don't talk to me. I'll shoot you
Yeah.
2 videos. You shoot me this, you read the script, we'll run your ads, and that's it. If you need other things, we're not expert at it. And that guy was honest. We ended up making $50,000 in 2 weeks. I was like, done. The ad stayed for like 2 months, then they died. And then I
Yeah.
called him. I said, "Can you have another campaign?" He's like, no, that's it. So he made his $2,000. He was happy. And then he moved on to the same clients. And I'm happy to refer him because he doesn't try to keep me on for 6 months, have me spend 2 to 5 grand a month and then not getting me any result because he's trying to figure it out, which a lot of people
Yeah.
are trying to figure it out.
Yeah. I almost feel like I want to plug this guy. Who is he?
I forgot his name, but I can send it to you after.
Yeah. Cool.
But the guy was good. The guy was actually good, and it was refreshing. I've hired another guy after this that told me yes, 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 yes. 2 months goes by, nothing. 3 months goes by. Oh yeah, we're spending this much. I don't understand, and I don't have the time to micromanage. So it's like that's where we all have that problem. Is like, how much time can I spend actually supervising the guy to make sure my money is not going down the drain?
Right.
And how many times can I
Yeah.
hear, yeah, it's gonna improve. It's gonna improve. Okay, I'll give you a little more time. Oh, it's gonna improve. Another $1,000 later. Oh, it's gonna improve. It's not improving. In my money, it would be better in my pocket right now. That's kind of how I see it. That's
Right.
the difficulty.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that that's the story that you hear most of the time is like, yeah, we tried this marketing agency or this, yeah, like maybe one off kind of freelancer. And it's just like, yeah, it didn't deliver results. It seems like, yeah, that's kind of a pain point. I feel like, especially in just sort of the remodeling, renovation, you know, yeah, space is, that's definitely a pain point, I think.
It's for sure is it's a competitive industry.
Right.
And the difference with most industry, and I can kind of talk about it because I was in different industries before, is that you have a big cost. So it could be a product cost or it can be a labor cost. It's really cost intensive. So when you sell something for $100,000, your cost is usually $60,000, $70,000. So whatever is left is kind of tight. When I did
Right.
e-commerce, my margins were smaller to a certain extent, but there was no effort. Right? I had customer service, I had things like this. So the bulk of the money was more left to be spent on things like life and stuff like this. Here, not only it's expensive, but if all of a sudden you've done something wrong, the client's going to come back at you and like, I don't want to pay this. I can then go
Right.
argue, and then you have your cash flow, and then you have your guys, and you have your product costs, or you make a mistake on ordering a $100,000 cabinet, and then you have to buy $5,000 to just repair it. It goes super quick. And then because we need to have constantly new clients, right? Because we have tight margins, we're always chasing the next one. And sometime where, and I had this more than previous, not pretty recently, is that I had to take jobs to pay the bills. Jobs that I
Hmm.
should not take. I know I should not take it. I can see this fine now. I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking actually of a client. But I was like, I know I should not take it, but I have bills that I need to pay. The other
Right.
job's going to start in 3 months. I need something next month. I have to take it. And I
Right.
might not make money on it, but it's going to pay my guys. It's going to pay my office. It's going to pay my bills and feed my kids, basically. That's the
Yeah.
difficult part.
And is pricing the job something that you guys do? I mean, how do you price a job if you're working with other people as well? Like, how do you work on like a quote or a bid?
So it's going to depend on the project, but roughly so materials, where all the materials that we sell, they have a retail price. It's a public
Right.
retail price. We have to obey to those rules, and we have an MAP, which is minimum advertised price that we cannot go under for most of them. So if an appliance costs 10 grand, my cost on it might be anywhere from 10 to 30%, depending on the brands that we carry. And then after this, we cannot advertise it like, let's say, minus 10%. So I
Yeah.
cannot sell it for this technically based on paper. So those are rules that are pretty set. There's other industry like flooring and things like this is more like the wild, wild west, because a lot of brands, what they do is they give you your costs. They say, here's your cost to buy it, sell it for whatever you want. And so you end up sometime in battle within the same city because these flooring competitors have like 10 different flooring stores in the same area saying the same one, selling the same one. And then you end up fighting for 50 cents. Oh, I found it across the street for 40 cents less. Can you do it? Yeah, we
Yeah.
can. But then instead of making $2, we make $1.20, right?
Hmm.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it goes really quick. When we have what I found that's been successful is that we carry a unique product and we block the territory. We said nobody else can sell this within the hour of me. So if someone really wants it for cheaper or try to get a better price, they have to commit to it and do the drive and do all this. That's been and those become at that point our core product. They become the one that we focus on. And the other one that just adds on. So for example, in my business, what I found successful and the reason why we went to kitchen is because we were mostly a flooring store. Flooring store is really something, it's almost the last thing you pick. You picked out your plumbing fixtures because the contractor, that's what they need first. You picked out your cabinets because your architect laid it out. And then the floor is just like, you can put any floor, it's just the color that changes. So people would come
Hmm.
at the end of the project, you're at the end of the budget, and then they'll pick their floor. We started doing kitchen because kitchen, when they're picking their kitchen, they need their floor. They haven't picked it yet. So it goes right in it. They look at samples in the showroom at both. So they usually, when we do a kitchen, we sell the floor. It's really rare that they don't buy the floor from us. And then
Yeah.
now we just recently went on the step above is that we're doing windows. Because
Hmm.
windows, when you're doing windows in a new house, you're specing your house from start. You haven't picked out anything else because until you have windows, you can't close your walls. So it's really the first thing you order. So first, what I call finished product that you order, and then after this, everything else comes. So if we
Yeah.
start with the windows, then oh, what about your kitchen? Oh, I haven't even looked into it. Great. Next month, come sit down. We'll talk about your kitchen, plumbing fixtures, style, design, and flooring. You name it.
Yeah. Right. Do you do you have any like project kind of highlights, spotlights, like unique projects that stand out to you that are like, oh, like this was a really cool project, or maybe something you're working on now?
I have there was one that was actually the biggest learning lessons in my life, I would say.
Yeah.
We did a house that sold for 27 million in Miami, and it was a
Wow.
spec home built by developers. And I can tell you that this was the biggest learning curve I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I-
What
I'll
did
make,
you
I'll
learn?
make the I'll make the story short. When I moved to
Yeah.
Miami and we opened the showroom, you drive. I don't know, for people that have come to Miami, they know that you have those really nice islands, like Palm Island, Star Island, stuff like this. And I remember driving at the time and be like, wow, the day I know I made it is when I'm doing one of these houses.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, within less than 6 months, I signed a contract. It was probably my second contract that I signed, just because
Wow.
I don't know if I manifested it or whatever. Whoever believes in these things, I manifested it. But then I
Yeah.
ended up meeting people and be like, yes, I'm sure I can beat these prices. I'm sure I can do a better job. And then conversation goes on. It was a $700,000 contract just for cabinetry, while my closest competitor was a 1.2. I found out later why they were 1.2 because I really suffered through the process. But what ended up happening is that it was a really high-end architect from France that worked for those developers, designed these houses. The guy was extremely precise and knew exactly what he wanted. 25 years of experience with me, with like almost milk coming out of my mouth, trying to figure it out. It was, I had a lot of things to learn. And that's something that has showed me and brought me success in life is because even if it's difficult, I take on the challenges and I'll find the answer. I'll find the resources that I need to make it happen. It was not easy. And
Hmm.
those contractors were not organized well. Like they had the electrician come twice. The house was finished. It started like they had like a water coming out of everywhere. So they were more on the conservative budget, I would say. And hopefully, I don't know if one day they'll see this video, but it's not a house I would buy for myself, I would say.
Hmm.
On a lot of things, I would expect problems to arise later on, like the project manager stole money from them, disappeared. So it was a sad story overall. And instead of taking a year, I was supposed to come in, I was supposed to take a year, it took another 3. So
Hmm.
to give you an idea, there's a lot of things that changed. But that also showed me, like for me, that was like getting an MBA in construction. I did
Yeah.
one of the most expensive houses at the time. I saw all the problem that contractor were facing. Like I understood all the level of details that I needed to do. So now I go in a $30 million home. It's like a walk in the park. I knew exactly what
Hmm.
I'm looking at. You would have done this. You would have before that experience of me building it for them, with them, going into a $30 million house, I had no idea about details.
Wow.
It's kind of the same concept where you want to buy a new car and you're like, oh, I'm going to buy a Jeep. And then all of a sudden you start seeing all the Jeeps in the street.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, Jeep, a Jeep, a Jeep. Before that, you never
Yeah.
even noticed a Jeep. And it's kind of the same concept. My eyes got trained, got used. So when I walk into a house now, I'm like, easy. So that house ended up being the best learning experience and great. I ended up also making money, but it was truly the best learning experience that allowed me to level up. So
Yeah.
immediately from there, my level was a lot higher than, I would say, 90% of the interior designers I work with. I ended up
Yeah.
carrying and supplying now new products that I provide to people that are in that price point. And then I'm teaching and educating a lot of people on what is this level. Because if you've never seen it, you cannot understand it. And that's what I'm having a hard time explaining to people as I contracted. They're like, yeah. I'm like, but they've never been around it. They don't understand
Mm.
why a door from Italy, for example, and a door from here is really different because they've only done the same thing. So
Mm.
explaining them that and turning that around is really difficult. But when they get it, it's game changer. So that
Yeah.
was, I would say, the coolest experience that I had in construction. That really allowed me to differentiate myself, basically.
Yeah. It was like an education that you got paid for.
It's exactly this. Like I would do it 12 times over. I did suffer through it. I have to say it
Sure.
was painful, a lot of meeting things that sometimes I just had to be quiet because I didn't even know what they were talking about.
Right.
But it worked out. The household, they made a lot of money. Everybody was happy. And
Yeah.
then since then, I've done a few more of those.
And did you make money on that one? I mean, even though you kind of didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, we did make money. Yes, a
Yeah.
great amount of
Good.
money. At the time, I don't know if I can say this, but yeah, at the time, I even almost saved my parents' company that was in trouble in cash because at the time I was working for them,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of complication with a partner that was leaving. So that job brought enough cash to pay the company for a few months and kind
Wow.
of
Yeah.
kept our head out of the water, basically.
That's awesome. It's like a win-win, win-win, win-win. I mean, yeah, everyone won.
Yeah, I lost half of my hair those years, but I,
Yeah. Right.
yeah, it happened.
Um, what about competition? Like how would you gauge the competition? Is it like what are your is it, highly competitive, especially like in your specific area in Santa Barbara is what you're doing? Like is there a lot of people doing the same thing?
It's a good question. Competition is not something I really care about ever. So there's always cabinet flooring companies, but the market is always so big that yes, you might lose one and you might feel it because they went over with a competitor, but I never really looked into it. And when I looked into it, I found over the years maybe one guy that does a similar thing than us, but is on a
Mhm.
different price point. So we never really competed. I've never looked really at competitors. I actually took it the other way around, where instead of calling them competitors, I call them collaborators.
Mhm.
So I have other tile store around my area, like three big ones, and I sell tile. When I don't have the tile that I need for my clients, instead of telling them to go somewhere else, I go there and I sell it to them. I might sell it
Yeah.
retail. I might not make money, but they're gonna make money great. But at least I'm here to supply my clients. If I'm looking for a cabinet, if they're looking for something really specific that I don't have, I'm not going to try to like tell them that my product is the best. I'm going to say, okay, honestly, for this, you should go see this guy. Here is his number. He's
Huh.
great because you're looking for these types of quality. Like there's a millwork in our area that's really, really high end that does custom work, things that I'll never be able to compete with. And then even if I could, I would
Mm.
not want to. And I just referred people. I said, go there. You need something specific. For this and this will
Huh.
help you, but for this, go there. And so it's been really, really successful. And now we're actually going to take it a step above is because I'm going to actually open a society for all of us to network together. Because the thing that
Hmm.
I found out a lot is that most people don't network together because they're afraid of competing. But what they found out is that when they know about each other, they share resources. They might
Yeah.
share installers, they might share suppliers, and then like this, everybody actually grows. So instead of being
Yeah.
scared to talk to your competitor, you can learn from them. And
Right.
the end result is that we all end up supplying a better service to our clients. And that's kind of the ultimate goal. Our goal is, yes, everybody needs to make money and stuff like this. We need to pay, right? And our family, we have bills to pay. But the goal, and if you're in this industry, is to provide an exceptional service. And most people don't provide that service because one,
Mm.
they're not educated about it. It takes time to learn. Two, they don't take the time to educate themselves. And three, they don't have the resources. So
Yeah.
by me talking to another cabinet guy, and sometime, when we go to trade show, I'll meet someone from Texas and we'll share what works for us. Why can't I do it with the local guy? The market is
Hmm.
big enough, but at least this local guy, his installer is sick. Mine has nothing to do. Go work for him.
Yeah.
Like go install this kitchen. We'll make money. Go install this kitchen. Up all of a
Yeah.
sudden, we provide a lot better service to our clients. We should
Yeah.
not look at it as ourselves, like, oh yeah, you might leave and blah blah blah. No, no. The end goal is to service our client the best way we can.
Yeah.
And that's the ultimate result that we're always looking for. After, yes, there is some shady people out there and stuff like this. People for sure you should stay away from and leave them in the corner. But these people usually don't last that long. They last a year,
Right.
2 years, 3 years, then they disappear, they go do something else. So it's kind of, those are kind of easy. You know them by reputation, that you should not work with them.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Well, it seems like the more that competitors kind of do align more, like then the more that you're protecting your clients from the shady ones, right? Because if it's like, oh yeah, I work with this guy and this guy, but I don't work with this guy, and you should avoid him too. Um, yeah, I just feel like that's actually helpful to your customers.
It's really helpful to our customers, and it's also helpful to us at so many levels to have people that we can count on. And the way I want people to look at it, and it's so many people don't think about this. It's more recent because I would say the construction industry, people are aging. The boomers
Hmm.
that were in that industry. But when are you going to exit when you retire? Are you going to close your business, or are you going to sell it?
Yeah.
Or are you going to have someone take over? So I'll give you an example. We're in Santa Barbara. It's a small town, right?
Hmm.
It's not a lot of people. Even to find employees, it's really hard. I move people from the Bay Area. I move people from LA. But like before, my dad was kind of tried to sell the business for a couple of years. No one could buy it. No one was really interested in buying it. Who's going to buy a business in a Santa Barbara town? Who's going to buy a landscaping business? Who's going to buy that is not like maybe an expert, and you haven't really built your business so it can be really sold? You need someone that understands. Someone
Hmm.
retires and is in the cabinet industry, I'll buy his business immediately. Well, not I'm going to put $1 million in cash, right? Because it's not like, those are not the things that are accessible to me, I would say. But like, I might buy it over time. And instead of
Yeah.
him closing, he can now retire. And he doesn't have to try to save money for the 30 years that he's been working with, or for the 10 years. Then now he has an exit. Most of the people in our industry, they're like, okay, when I'm retired, I'm done. Right? They'll grow to 3, 5, 7 employee. They'll get to 60, 70 years old, and they'll be like, I'm washed out. Sorry guys, go work for someone else. And that's most
Yeah.
of what happens. Stores just close down. There's a really successful furniture store that was here for 15 years. The guy retired, they closed shop. I'm like, what? I'm like, if I knew
Hmm.
the guy, I would have been like, okay, let me take over. Like,
Right.
it's your business is running. Yes, I might not give you $1 million. I might give you 100, 200 a year, but I might be able to
Sure.
take it. I might be able to give you this for 5 years. You'll make an additional $1 million instead of just closing, canceling your lease and saying, I'm just done.
Right.
So
Getting nothing. Yeah.
getting nothing. That's how I want people to start looking at their competitors. The competitors is the only one that can retire them. Someone like me in my city, I want people when they want to retire to come to my door and say, Theo, I'm done.
Yeah.
I want you to take over, or I want someone to take over. That's what happened to my dad. The guy that was next door was doing upholstery, was really old. His business was impossible to sell. It was a one-man
Wow.
show type of thing. So my dad could, because not only he was next door, but he was knowledgeable because he was working with him. So we actually changed the concept, but we made it happen. So if everybody has kind of that approach where we are here to work together to help each other, yeah, we're going to compete. Sure, we're going to compete on certain project, but overall, competition is healthy. It makes us better.
Yeah,
We have to be better than the next door, and we have to constantly looking for improvement. And if we do this right, and we all compete well and grow over the years, and then at some point where we're slightly in trouble, we can help each other, buy each other's out, or help each other retire. Then you have a lot healthier life in the long run, I would say.
for sure. Yeah, yeah, I would agree. I love that actually. And so, do you feel like people probably your quote unquote competitors they probably feel that, right? And like, do you notice the kind of the reciprocal? Do you see it reciprocating back to you? From your
Not
competitors?
really, not
No,
really. And
not yet.
that's been, I think, one of my biggest frustration is because if I don't have this type of conversation in front of them, people don't visualize this. A lot of people are, I wouldn't say narrow-minded, but I would say focus on what they're doing, right? They're seeing their bottom line, they're seeing a year in front of them. They don't see 10 years, 20 years in front of them. And for
Right.
them, it's been normal to just retire and call it a day. They haven't thought about another exit, right? I have a friend of mine, he's a dentist, different industry. He's makes your braces. When
Yeah.
you want to sell a practice like this, you have to sell it to someone local. And he ended up having to sell it. The options that you're looking at is they'll buy your business. He made, I think at the time it was $3 million with 2 million in profit. So the profits in the dentistry tree are a lot higher. And then he was like, okay, then someone will buy me like maybe 1x, 2x, because who's gonna put two, three, $4 million to buy a practice? Who has the cash? Like that's another dentist that has the cash to do this. Not a lot of people. So then he
Right.
was like, yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to sell it. Then you need to find the right person that can send it. It's a difficult business to sell. But then he went a different way and he found a group that buys dentists. He ended up selling it for $11 million.
Wow.
And when we had dinner and he was sharing this with me, and I'm like, he's like, 6 months ago, a year ago, I'd never even heard of things that were possible like this until
Wow.
I actually went and investigated. Then thank God my business was successful in this way. And that kind of opened my eyes on like, hold on. If people are doing this and they're buying 5x what your profit is, while the local guy would buy it for 1x, maybe there's different ways for us to do this
Yeah.
in our industry. And I'm not a VC yet, it's different, but it's all about finding the right people within your area that can take over. It's truly it. So you might be able to sell it for a lot or a little, but you need to think about your exit. And most people don't even get into that business thinking about their exit. But at some point, your exit could simply be retiring.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell it to a VC, you don't have to go public, but you just have to do your job really well, do your passion for many years. And then at some point, maybe you can take another half a million, $1 million check. But you
Right.
just have to look at who can eventually give you that $1 million check, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of at every level. That's the importance, and I hope we're all gonna do this more. So
Me
to answer
too.
your question, most people don't see that.
Right.
I'm trying to bring this out of people and like teaching them that the market is big enough. There's enough remodel houses that needs to be remodeled. At some point, yes, we might maxed out in an area and like that guy that's going to open is going to close because nobody needs him. But there is enough clientele around for all
Right.
of us ever.
Right. Yeah. And if they, I mean, they do a remodel now. It's not. That's not the last one. So like it is a. It's. I don't think it's ever going to go away. Remodeling is always going to be a need. Even people that just did it, it's like okay, well, reach out in 5, 10 years, and there'll be another project to do.
And it's going to be with the whole evolution, for example, of AI. I don't know if we can get into this, but
Yeah, for sure.
everything that's being done on computers is immediately replaced. Customer service, sales, like once your AI has learned all your tweaks and tricks, they can copy you better than yourself, for sure.
Yeah.
You can build a house from the ground up. We already have machines that print, that assemble cubes, that do all these things. Like that's going to be the next step of the construction industry. It's going to be ground up build. We have companies here. We build houses in under months. Like
Right.
insane. But
And the labor cost is going to be nothing.
it's gonna disappear because it's gonna be a machine.
Right.
You're just gonna have to put oil in and plug it. So it's gonna be a little that's going to be an interesting transition on a nationwide scale soon.
For
But the
sure.
remodel industry, what I like about the remodel industry is because everything is kind of custom. So
Hmm.
when you open a wall, when you remodel a whole house, you always find surprises. The wood is not correct. The things have been built like weirdly. So
Right.
it's so custom that before we can actually teach a robot or a machine how to do these type of things, that will be really the last step. Working on a new house that we built last year, remodeling that one, fine. It's made of steel, it's made of concrete, that's easy. But I have houses that were built 60 years ago, 70 years ago. We opened the walls, the standards of building 60 years ago were different than today. The brackets is just not there. So when we start opening the house, it's a disaster. And if you're not like competent to what you do, you can do it. So that's why our industry, like landscaping is never gonna go away. How like by
Right.
the time we tell the robots how to put the plants and stuff like this, we might get machines that will help us do it better, but we're not gonna be able to replace the manpower basically. We might
Right.
improve them, like give them stronger arms and things like this, but still, someone's gonna have to do it. And it's the
Yeah.
same in drywall, it's the same in framing, it's the same in kitchen, it's the same in everything. We have machines that are building our cabinets, but you still need someone to design it to the space and to guide the client in their journey. That's
Yeah.
really it. So for us to be replaced by tools at that level is gonna take a really, really long time.
Yeah.
It's
I
gonna
think so
happen,
too.
but we'll see.
Right. I mean, because it can happen really quickly, I guess, like once the technology happens, but it does seem like, we're not really seeing that yet.
But I can tell you one thing is that the reason why I don't do sales anymore is because every client goes through the same journey and the mental journey. So when you're wanting to remodel, you have the idea and you have the fund, you put the money together, then you start dreaming about it. But there's a saying that I really like, I saw recently, and I'm just going to use it really quite often. You know, when people say, I'm over budget,
Yeah.
you're not over budget. You just didn't plan for what you really wanted
Hmm.
because you remember 10 years ago, your mother remodeled her kitchen for 20 grand. Now that same kitchen is worth 40 grand. You didn't look at it when you look at Apple. And Apple 20, 30 years ago was, let's say, 20 cents. Now it's 40 cents. Now it's more like $4. An avocado is my favorite. Avocado used to be 50 cents to a dollar. And now they're like organic $2 to $4. And you're like, dang it.
Yeah.
So on your everyday bottom line, you may our salary went from let's say 60 to 70 or 100 to 120. They didn't double. Your Apple doubled. You can still afford it
Hmm.
because you have to eat it, but people don't think about their kitchen. Their kitchen also doubled. So now they're
Yeah.
getting into, okay, it's been 10 years I own this home, I want to remodel. It's not the same price as 10 years ago. You should have done it 10 years ago for that budget.
For sure. Yeah.
And so every client goes to that journey of thoughts, of learning, of understanding. And so sometimes personally, I don't have the patience. I see them coming, they're like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is going to take me weeks. And half the
Yeah.
time, what end up happening, everybody does it differently, but I'm more of like, look, this is what your house look like. I know you've lived in there for 20 years. You cannot see yourself separate differently. I've remodeled 300 houses last year. Maybe by experience, I can recommend certain things. And I will say, okay, I would put this here, put this here, put this here. And usually the initial reaction is like, no, I don't like it. And then they come back 3 weeks after and they're like, you were right.
Yeah.
Because it takes time for them to process the information, to like grab their coffee in the morning and look at it. Oh, if I had a door here, and if this, maybe. And so that process takes time. The people that have the time end up making the right decisions. And the people that don't have the time sometimes don't make it and end up going back at the end. Oh yeah, now that you open the wall, I love it. Can we change it? Right? So that's why getting replaced by AI is going to be really difficult because you have to take the clients to that journey. And each case is so unique and each personality people are really different that it takes a good salesperson or a good concierge like myself to really understand what that client wants and be able to
Yeah.
guide them into their thinking journey and giving them enough space. Sometimes I don't follow up with the client for a week on purpose because I know
Hmm.
it's too short amount of time. And if he doesn't take the time to process it because he had his wedding or he had a party over the weekend that I found out, he won't have time to process the information. Then I wait another week. And then he comes in and I'm like, okay, here's the idea that I suggested. And they had enough time to marinate it. They had enough
Hmm.
time to review it. And then they're like, actually, it's a good idea. Okay, how much does it cost?
Interesting.
That
Yeah.
and that's what makes the difference between someone that's great and someone that's really good. It's it's how you take them and take their hand through that journey.
Yeah. So I'm curious too. Like, you do refer people to just like your, like other companies, other competitors. What exactly is like your guys' specialty? Or like what make kind of sets you guys apart? What do you do the best?
Finished products. So everything that basically requires to be installation. So kitchen cabinets is one that we're great. We have designers in house. Flooring, we carry a lot of brands. Plumbing fixtures, appliances, tile, uh, wallpaper, paint, everything that's kind of finished material that goes inside vanity, you name it. That's kind of our bread and butter, and we try to offer just that type of services and recommend people to install. Or if we don't have them, we go source them locally. Like I would say my team 2 or 3 times a week, they're going to other showroom to find product that they can put in that client's project because we might have the tab, but they want something unique. We don't carry it. We don't need to carry it. So we go and find it somewhere else, bring it in and help the client so they don't have to go to 12 different places, basically.
Yeah, nice. Just that time savings.
But the time savings, I can tell you, I've had clients cried in my showroom after having what they call the design fatigue. I have people that came in the office and be like, I have design fatigue. I don't know what to choose. When you go and you
Yeah.
start remodeling a house, you have to put all the pieces together. Even if you have an interior designer, the interior designer is going to take you into different places, going to show you things
Hmm.
that they believe is good for you, or they're going to gauge what you want. So you spend a lot of time basically searching, and then after you have to bundle it together and make it make sense. That takes an enormous amount of time. And if you don't have a good designer that knows how to do this and doesn't charge you an arm and a leg to put it together, you end up spending a way much more money than you were planning on spending, and you
Yeah.
end up spending a lot of time, and sometimes you don't even get the right product because there's
Hmm.
so much out there that most people will focus on what they sell, and they, as I told you earlier, they say I have the best, I have the best floor, I have the best cabinet. It might be the best, but not for that type of clients.
Hmm.
one
Yeah.
one crazier story, earlier you asked me one crazier story that I have. This client's
Yeah.
$20 million home hires a builder to remodel. It was actually her neighbor, and he was a really successful builder. This guy, he charged $500,000 in carpentry. He used a local guy that does custom cabinet shop. I have never seen this in my life. I will not give names because it's not worth it, but like the drawers were not aligned with each other. The finish was terrible. It was one of the cheapest cabinets I've seen in my life in a $20 million home. And the client
Wow.
at that point, they don't care about budget. They're trusting the person that they're hiring to know what they're doing, right? The guy lived in that neighborhood, so he must know about it. Now, the guy actually bought that house and grew his construction company. And his
Hmm.
wife was really successful and they had the resources to buy it. But his knowledge, my kitchen was cheaper, but it was made in Italy. It was 20 times the
Hmm.
level of quality. But because the contractor didn't have access to it, didn't know about it, could not compare, heard those stories that maybe Italian cabinets are super expensive because if you go to a really high-end brand, of course they hammer you because they're the Louis Vuitton of the industry. But you can
Yeah.
find the same quality that doesn't say Louis Vuitton for something that's sometimes more affordable than local guys, but they don't know.
Right.
And so it ended up, she sued the contractor. She
Oh.
called me, but she came to the showroom to look at her quality. I went on site. We had to replace, to give you an idea, the countertop alone was $80,000. I had to remove all the cabinets without touching the countertop so we didn't break it and
Wow.
put new cabinets under it. I did not sleep for 2 weeks. I was like, I was so stressed when we were doing the job because I was like, we can't break it. And I had extra guys. We took extra care and everything went well. It was like, it was incredible. We were able to do it. But that is the biggest challenge that we have in that industry. That is
Mm,
really the biggest challenge is people getting educated about what is out there and what actually exists. And when they come,
yeah.
and I don't want to say I'm unique, but I approach it in a way I'm not in here to make money.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, my goal is really to service the homeowners. And then if along the way, of course, I make money, great. And if my as long as my people are paying and our bills are paid, and we're able to provide the service in the long term, then I'll potentially see a return, and then I'll be happy with this. But
Yeah.
that's truly my goal, and that's why I'm different. That's why a lot of people trust us and work with us is because of how we differentiate ourselves, basically.
Yeah. I mean, and I also feel like your kind of philosophy and outlook, they're just attractive. I think that like the reciprocal, I'm still having difficulty with that word, but I think that you have just kind of like a philosophy to like just help people, and I think that you talked about manifesting earlier, and it is interesting how it seems like people who take that kind of stuff seriously tend to be a little more successful, you know, which is good. You like to
We'll
see
find
that.
out. Still waiting for that part. We'll find out.
For sure, for sure. It's a work in progress, right?
It's a work in progress. I always believe if the intentions are right, things will come out of it. And
Yeah.
it's more of a passion. The only reason, honestly, why I created this company is because I was just super frustrated.
Hmm.
When I started working in the showroom in Miami, I was so frustrated of just people taking advantage of. Like people
Yeah.
would call me. That's how I got those jobs is because they got bids that didn't make sense, and they would
Hmm.
call me, and I'm like, okay, yes, this makes sense. This doesn't. And then I just saw that like clients getting taking advantage of because they were not familiar with it. Like if you're a dentist, what do you know about cabinets? It's my job to educate you on what cabinet, and it's my job to have different option and also to tell you when you're not the right fit for me. And a
Hmm.
lot of people don't have that approach. So what the mistake they make is sometimes when I refer people, I will ask for a commission in return. I don't do it all the
Oh,
time. Actually, most of the time I don't. But I will say,
yeah.
hey, it's not a great client for me. I could convince him. I'm sure if I push it enough, I could convince him. But I prefer for you to work with him. Give me 2%. Percent
Yeah.
is nothing. Doesn't make a difference, right? But at
No.
least I get something out of it. So a lot of the time we do things like this, and I created this because I was just fed up, and that's why I started sourcing so many different materials. So many, I learned. I went to China, I went to Europe. I learned
Hmm.
about the industry, the ins and outs, understanding the middlemen, why things were costing so much or so little, and really trying to build a platform that helps people. Like recently, we just did a house in Las Vegas and San Diego at the same time
Wow.
because that service that we provide, tomorrow someone is in the middle of Connecticut, they send me a floor plan, I can apply the same service to these people.
Hmm.
I don't have to have them next door to me. Yes, it might be a little difficult for me to come measure in the next 30 minutes, but once we're close, I can hire someone that I will vet that will go measure, and then I can order all the materials for these people. We've done it dozens of times. I have a person I'm doing their house in Cabo, and the service is the same, the quality is the same, but I don't have to be in person. And
Yeah.
that's been my next expansion is to teach people, explain them, educate, and then they can
Hmm.
buy it from me or they can buy it from their local guys. But at least they know the question to ask, they know who they should be going to, and they kind of see the difference when they walk into there, and they can improve their
Yeah.
business.
Interesting. So the kind of the jobs that you're doing in like Cabo and different states, are those commercial or residential, or is that kind of a mix as well?
Residential, mostly
Okay, all
residential.
residential. Yeah. How are
I
you
would say
getting those?
75% of my business is residential.
Okay. Yeah, the great majority. So how are you getting those though? How are people finding you and saying, "Hey, come to Cabo"? Or
Word to mouth, people have second homes. So, like the one in San Diego, we did this project 7 years ago in Santa Barbara. I moved to San Diego, we did this house. The one in Vegas, we did their apartment in Santa Barbara. They had another one, and they have an
okay,
apartment in Cabo. So it's like mostly word to mouth because we are not they're like we're not really telling the world that we're like everywhere yet. It's more we're taking case by case as we're
Right.
improving our services. But most of the client had a good experience with us, and I don't feel going through how they used to do it, which is like going to five local cabinet guy and trying to figure it out. They prefer to work with someone that they trust, that they've worked with, because the price is not going to be different. It's not because I ship my kitchen from Italy, I ship it to Santa Barbara, I ship it to Vegas. The price is the same. The installer
Mm.
cost is the same. The quality is the same. Nothing's changed. It's not because I'm going to Aspen tomorrow that I'm going to charge double. Well, if you go to a local store in Aspen, they're going to charge you double.
Yeah. Do things change at all with the tariffs?
Not really.
Okay.
It's not worse than when during COVID the container tripled in cost.
Yeah.
So the way the way the way I look at the tariff right now, even if we take 20, 30, 50%, it's on cost. So it's not
Mm.
on the retail. So it's not like we take $100,000 kitchen and we had 20 grand for 20%. It's on our cost. So it reflects to be between 5 to 8%. Let's say on the worst case scenario. But during COVID, a container used to cost me 4 grand, went to 16.
Yeah.
So that was, and then we swallowed it because we had no choice. So everything that was pre-sold, but then client ended up buying it later on, and that didn't make a big difference. China, part of it, if it remains like this, will become a problem for, not for me personally, because I don't buy a lot from China, but for most of our suppliers, because most of the plumbing fixtures is made, the parts are from China. Most of the floor, what people don't know is 90% of the floor in the US is European oak sourced in Europe, but actually processed in China and sent from there. So we're gonna have a supply chain issue at some point if it
Yeah.
remains like this. But I think it's gonna shift a lot of things towards American, and now all those products that were American, European, all of a sudden won't be that expensive. And
That's
actually
true.
people can get great quality for the same price. We don't have to be undercut because I don't want to get too into this, but a lot of, like, even myself, I went to China for 10 days, visited dozens of factories to understand what was
Yeah.
it. The quality level at certain points, some company were so high, they didn't even care about working on Americans. They're like, no, we don't work with Americans. We don't need you guys. We have our Chinese market. High end is so high end. And these guys stay there. But all the ones
Yeah.
that are like on the affordable side, all of these guys were like, oh, yeah, yeah, we'll come to America. We'll come to America. And so we ended up founding products that were similar in look than what we sold in Italy for a fraction of the price. So when you look at your bottom line, kitchen that you buy for 50K, now you buy it for 12 and you still sell it for like 70, $90, you're like, whoa. So you question yourself kind of like, where do I start sourcing it? And a lot of people went that
Mm.
route and they don't focus on quality. So it's like they focus on money. And some people that I know have gotten a lot richer than me over the years because of that philosophy. But their
Yeah.
client is not served better. The quality of the product doesn't last longer. It's more the opposite. I made the mistake myself, and sometimes I still surprise myself. Outdoor kitchen, outdoor furniture is really
Yeah.
expensive. My taste like a $600 chair that looks really simple. Initially, when I started, I was like, "Ooh, first of all, I couldn't afford it. Second of all, like I need 12 chairs, like that's insane." So
Yeah.
I ended up finding on Wayfair and stuff like this, like chair for like 70, $90. So I bought like all those chairs, cost me, I think, at the time $600. And I was like, great. Those chairs lasted 6 months. Next summer came around, the whole thing is falling apart.
Wow.
So yes, I saved a lot of money, but at what cost? I have to buy them again. And I'm really pissed. Like I was really pissed. I have to like buy new chairs again. It's really frustrating just because I was uneducated about the quality differences. Like outdoor, I've never done outdoor furniture. So it's not something that I know. And I made a rookie mistakes. I looked at the price, it looked good. I received it, they look good. 6 months down the road, they're gone for the trash. And because I'm not a furniture expert, I'm a
Yeah.
finish material expert. So same as a dentist is not like it will know which kind of cavity and how to fill them for them to last 20 years, but they won't know when they buy a cabinet. So people take advantage of them. Same the other
Right.
way around at my level. That's kind of, I think.
Yeah. So, and I'm curious, so like when you did this like world tour, kind of, to check out different sourcing, you know, factories and stuff. Was it all at once, or did you just like do multiple trips to and specifically for to find sources? Is that where why you did these trips?
Yes. So I did these trips mainly to understand how the industry works. Because I had friends that were sourcing from China, I had friends that were sourcing from Europe, from Brazil. So I really wanted to know. One, I never like to feel stupid when I don't know something, so I always do my own research. And because of the concept that I was building, I can really help people if I know what I'm talking about. I didn't want to be one of those ones that's saying, yeah, my cabinets is the best. No, it's
Mm,
not. Well, yes, it's the best, but for this kind of clients, not for
mm,
this one. So then after the decisions that I had to make was, do I want to start sourcing these cabinets for that type of clientele? Or do I want to just focus on this clientele? Right? Because when we design a kitchen, the process is the same. That I design a $10,000 or $100,000 kitchen, we go through the same steps. We go through the same design, except one, you make a lot of money, lot you make a little less money. So it's like my decision making had to be which directions do I want my business to go to. And what I ended up finding out is that the guy that would buy the $100,000 kitchen, he had 5 apartments that he was renting.
oh,
So at that point, he needs those products. If I can supply him the same kind of services, make less money, it might take the same amount of time or sometimes go faster. Why would I send him to someone else while I can keep it in house? Or if I don't have it, what can I partner with someone that will supply that niche in that area so I can all work together? Let's take an example. If I wanted to go to San Diego tomorrow and I know that I'm doing a house and half of the suppliers, I don't have them, I'll take my car, I'll go around and I know what I'm looking at. So I know who's bullshitting and who's not bullshitting. And I'll be like, okay, you carry what I need for my clients. Come to me next meeting. You're going to sell them a kitchen. Or you're going to, at the time that you have here, this is what he needs. I don't have it. You're going to sell him the kitchen. And then
mm,
we work. So I don't charge like designers. I here to supply and then I let them work their things out directly. But at least the client now gets everything that he needs.
right.
That's, that's the, that's the crazy part about one of the crazy ones.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a couple, couple crazy things about you.
For sure.
Crazy cool, actually. Okay, so what? Like, how many jobs do you take on at once?
Hmm.
And
Good
I
question.
guess is that changing?
Yeah, it's changing. I would say 2 years ago, I looked at the number. We did 450 clients in a year.
Okay.
So it was quite a lot, but somewhere between, I had like 175 clients under $10,000. And I had eight, I think it was 8%. Basically, 8% of my clients contributed to 60% of my revenue, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of clients that were not really making us money. They were just paying the bills. So it's always
Sure.
fighting between the small clients that you need to kind of pay the bills that are like quick and the big one that takes a year to close and
Right.
like and finding the right balance between these. So now the shift that we're doing now that we get a little bigger, that we're better structured, is that I'm focusing on mostly the big clients and I'm building a
Okay.
separate team to handle the small clients. So
I see.
our our the constant improvement that we're doing is that we are really focusing on qualifying the customer, really understanding what they really need, not what they're telling us they need, but what they actually need. And then from there, assigning it to the right person. Because just recently, someone came in for a $3,000 bathroom. They came in, couple, Friday afternoon. Oh, I heard you guys do vanity. We're looking for a bathroom. Cool. Yeah, of course we do. What else do you need around that bathroom? Oh, we're doing a whole house. So that ended up being a $420,000 contract.
Wow.
So, and then if I didn't ask the question correctly and I just say, yes, of course, here's the catalog for vanity, pick one and buy it and gone. And I didn't spend the time to ask them the right questions, then I would have missed a giant opportunity.
Totally.
So once we qualify, then we assign to the right team. And I get like a designer that does like a $30 million home and a designer that does a $10,000 home. They have a different view on things. I cannot mix them. One needs to be educated. One also needs to be educated this way.
Yeah.
Because if you're used to people buying $20,000 slabs, that becomes a normal thing for you after years. If you're used to people spending this $500 per slab, you never think that someone could spend 20 grand in a slab. So I have designers that are here that don't even understand how to do a cheap product. And when I come in, I'm like, no, you could do this like this. You look, there's prefab fabricated, boom, boom, boom. You use this. Oh, and the other one is like, no, no, you could sell to this client as $20,000. That should be the whole project. No, no, no. 20 grand is just a slab, and that does not include the fabrication. Ah, so it's all about being the bridge between these and finding them the right clients so you can mix and match it. That works really well.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious about, like, there's a couple of questions I want to ask about market trends, where you see things going. You did talk a little bit about AI and just like technology. Where do you kind of see, like, what are just, I don't know, some trends that you're kind of paying attention to that you're anticipating sooner than, like, the robot takeover of, home improvement jobs, things that are like more on the horizon, the things that, just directions that things are going.
Market trend, I would say, if we look at it on a design perspective and the look and feel of things, I would say look at what people were doing 15 years ago, and it's coming back in 5 years. I've
Hmm.
been long enough that every 20 years things come back. Like now we're doing curve kitchen. I was doing curve kitchen 15 years ago and died for 10 years. Now half my clients are asking me for curve kitchen. Vintage shelves from the 70s are coming back while we spent a decade demolishing those 70 years bathroom. And now people are like, oh, I want these and this. So that's kind of, in terms of design, it has that cycle. There's always new material. There's new trend that's starting, like fluted wood. We saw this in the recent years, blonde, white oak. We've seen this recently, and people are like, some of them are fed up with it, and we're going back into the
Hmm.
dark. So it's really difficult to gauge. And what I would say is, in terms of design, it's really, if you lived in a house that was beige for 10 years, your next house, you're going to want it contrasted with black. If you live in a house that was black and white, you're going to want beige. And you can
Yeah.
see every client every 5, 10 years, every time they change, they go through this. They have kids, they want colors. So they'll do colors and they'll do like an easy maintaining, like light kitchen because they want their space to be open. The kids are gone, they go more contrasting. The kids are older, they go more contrast. But if they lived in a beige house like in Kardashian, then all of a sudden they want a pitch black kitchen. So it kind of depends on your life and how people go. Always the trend are for people like people that follow trends are people that sell homes. If you do a home to
Hmm.
sell it, go to the latest trend because new homeowners all want to walk in. They saw this on Instagram for the first year. They feel they just got their dream house. That's
Yeah.
how I would determine trend in terms of design. If we look at trend for the consumer, I think most people are looking for solution. They're looking for places that they can be serviced and have the information. I can tell you, I have a client that took me out to lunch and he said, if I met you before, I would have saved $40,000.
Wow.
I said, because he went the wrong direction. He took an architect, he took a designer before
Hmm.
even knowing how much things cost. So he got a beautiful plan done. He came to 5 contractors. They gave him $1 million budget because instead of doing it the other way around, where you get an understanding of what it costs, and then you go get your plan and you work with your architect on getting it done.
Yeah.
I, it's um, it's a difficult industry. Like most people won't spend the time like me to explain you how much things are gonna cost. Because if you know you and me are not gonna work together, am I gonna spend my time working with you? Am I gonna spend my precious hour to give you advice for free while you might never come back and just stick it and leave with it?
Right.
I have clients. I have really. That's why real estate agents love us. They call us when a client wants to put an offer on a house. They're like, but he wants to change this and this and this. I do an hour Zoom. I tell them, okay, a kitchen on that side should cost you 50K, 50 to 70. Redoing this, opening the wall should cost you this. Now, I would say your whole project's going to be 250, between 200 and 250, depending on the level of finishes you want to go. And this house is 3 million, so you're not going to go there. It's not a million, so you're not going to go there. I would aim for this.
Hmm.
Last year, we had an agent sell 4 houses, four
Wow.
houses in 1 year because we gave her this. And we even had the funniest one is we had this client. He's a really nice client. And then he called us, he called the manager at the time and he said, I have never bought a house because I trusted someone to do the remodel immediately. We're closing next week. We need you guys to get started. And literally, we did the whole house in 8 weeks. Well, it was like a nightmare in terms of organization. Um,
Sure.
but she sold 4 houses like this in a year because we were a part of it. And because I'm willing to give the information, educate the persons. And sometimes I do make mistake. That's why I give a bracket because the wife comes in and she know I want gold plated the hardware. Okay, your hardware alone is 10 grand. I give
Yeah.
you 40 for your kitchen. Now you take it to 50. But that's because we don't go into that much detail at the conversation. But it's,
Sure.
I think people, that's what they want. There's a lot more information out there also in terms of online, what you can find. And ChatGPT, I think, has helped tremendously in finding what things should cost and things like this when you add the right questions. So I think people really are looking for solutions like this, where you can get transparent information, the right advice, and after by be making educated decisions, basically.
Yeah. And so how many you were working with realtors, you said? Just a few?
Yeah.
And how did they find you? How did you, kind of like market to them?
So that's going to be the next phase, but we are mostly working on word to mouth.
Okay.
But I have to say, real estate agent has been my most successful referrals. Okay, maybe
Yeah, I
that's
was
the secrets I can give you. So I'll tell you this. Interior designers, architects, and general contractors are really good, but they know what
sure.
they're doing. They're really like precise about what they want. Real estate agent, they sell a home, and I hope I don't offend anybody on saying this, but there's a lot of real estate agent out there. There's
Yeah.
some that are really knowledgeable, and some that are just like had nothing else to do or at home stay dad or stay mom and decided to become an agent. They don't have a lot of knowledge, right? So where
Sure.
the lifting and shake itself is not really by upping you, like they showed you a product, you liked it, you buy it. The agent in the middle that was there is not going to make you not buy the house of your dream if you can afford it, right? So hope I didn't offend anybody here, but
Yeah.
where they make the difference is how they handle that client, how they support that client, how if that client needs to do something afterwards, who they're going to refer and what is their experience going to be. If they have a good experience remodeling their house with someone that the agent referred, who do you think they're going to use next? Because they know
Right.
that agent is more resourceful than the next door real estate agent. So real estate agent, when they bring me a client, they don't care about the cost. They don't care about what they design. They just care about us being reliable. And
Hmm.
so when they introduce us and it clicks, the client is super happy with that agent. And then that agent is going to keep that client for 20 years. And us, we keep getting
Right.
clients. So they refer. And the way I look at it is like these agents need to sell homes, and there's always something to do. The best thing is that you have different types of clients in the remodel. One, you get the one that bought his house 20 years ago, is tired of it, saved money over 15 years, has a little bit of money to remodel, right? But their budget is maxed out because they spend so many years saving it, right?
Right.
It's the one that spends the most money. He's the one that just bought it and he knows that he's going to spend $2 million, and he knows that his kitchen is horrible when he buys it, and he knows he needs to spend 100 grand doing it. And he might have an he just took a loan for two, three, four, $5 million. Extending it to another 500,000 to get exactly what he wants is not a stretch.
Right.
Right? He has the means, he has the loan, so he knows he's already, when he buys it, he knows he's going to have to spend a certain amount of money. Now, you just need to find the one that didn't think he could do it in 100 and he's 500, because these ones are difficult. But at that point, and they do it right away. They don't want to live in that horrible kitchen or use the toilets that the guy took a poop on for 20 years. He wants a new toilets and he wants it by the time he moves in. So
Right.
their decision making is a lot faster, and the return for us is a lot faster. So when agent refers someone, I love it. And they love
Yeah.
it because their clients get everything they want.
Right.
That's the one
It's a
word.
total win-win.
It's a total
It's a
win-win.
it's a no-brainer kind of partnership. And
It is.
it makes me think about like the guy that you had what was a coffee with who said like, "Oh yeah, if I would have found you, I would have saved, $40,000." It's like, well, how do you market to them? How do you find them? Because I feel like, there's a lot of people who just don't know that, like, oh, I could save $40,000 if I just talk to you. Like, so how do you let people know that, like, those types of homeowners, that you exist? And I feel like realtors is a great example, but
Realtors, the main example.
yeah, but like where else? I feel like there's got to be other.
There's another way. And I don't
Yeah,
like it, but I'm gonna do it because I feel like I don't have a choice. I owe it to my
yeah,
customer almost.
yeah,
It's putting your face out there.
yeah,
It's one, networking is not really gonna help because networking within professional is not gonna help. But for if you want to do B2C, is you need to grab your phone and you need to film yourself.
yeah.
And you need to post it. And you need to stop thinking of if you look beautiful on that video or not. Like this morning, yes, I was like looking for a light for this podcast and stuff. I'm like, boy, it doesn't look perfect, but
Yeah,
anyway, right? It's
right.
like at the end of the day, it's better to have a conversation that's intelligent and share information that is intelligent than looking just perfect. It might be
Totally.
less pleasing on the eyes, but at the end of the day. So last year I did a test. I shot probably 20 videos of me talking
Okay.
about the subject. Within weeks, I had people in my showroom say, yeah, we're here because we saw your video on the countertop.
Wow.
And I swear to you, I was shocked. I felt like a kid. I was like, what? Like, and they're like, yeah. And they ended up buying without even asking questions because they saw the
Wow.
video and they knew that I knew what I was talking about.
Right.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
Because where did you post it?
on Instagram and TikTok.
Okay. Yeah. And people
That's it.
locally found that.
Yeah. And that's after where the platform have to be good is like they need to advertise to the people that like these types of content and are looking for it. That's the difficult part. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just did this and like I was literally within the same week, maybe a week or two, and then she came, she's like, yeah, we saw your video. I was like, okay. And I know I need to do more, but I just never. I'm like everybody. I'm always too busy right now. So
Yeah.
it's like finding the time to do it right. So I've been setting up the stone to be able to really have the time to dedicate to this because it's almost not a full-time job, but you have to commit to it. You have to
For
be
sure.
consistent. That's the
Right.
difficulty. And then the second part is like making sure that you have the right settings. But what I found out, it doesn't matter. If your video sucks, nobody will see it. So,
Right.
but if it's good, everybody will see it
Right.
because the algorithm will push it, people will share it. And so the more you put out there, the better it is. So that's what we're doing like probably in the next 3 weeks. We're investing heavily in content, not in advertising, but
Yeah.
it's just in content.
And are you doing YouTube as well?
I'm gonna do YouTube, yes, because
Perfect.
the way the way I look at it is that when I send like when a client, like the conversation that me and you just had, it
Yeah.
says a lot about my personality. It says a lot about the things that I like to sell and things like this, right? For
Right.
someone to, for me to see a customer that's new, I have to repeat myself 20,000 times
Yep.
of the same one to convince them that we're the right fit for them or that I have the right vision for them. But what I can do is I can meet them for 5 minutes, not spend an hour talking to them or an hour and 27 minutes. And I can just say, hey, here's a video of a clips of a few things that we talked about. Here's me talking to a client. It's 30 seconds times 5. You'll get the concise information that regards to what you want. You'll come back, you'll trust me. And then all of a sudden you'll start getting that feeling of like, I know Theo. Theo and I have been friends forever because I follow it. So when you come
Totally.
and we sit in front of it, like I've had this experience, I've met people that are really famous on social media. And like you're like, I know everything about you. I know your kids, and I'm like, let's go, let's be friends, let's grab beer. No, it's not. So you can repeat the same kind of thing with customer, even if you're
Right.
not good at camera, because they'll see you. Like you do landscape, you do plumbing, you do anything. I'll be like, oh, I want to use that plumber. What would I use a plumber that I don't know? Right?
Mm.
Like what would I not use the guy that I've seen? If the price is the same, the quality is the same, why would I go with someone that I don't know, I've never seen before, that could tomorrow disappear? I
Right.
bought a program many years ago that was a really challenging things I wasn't sure. But the guy was a famous person. I'm like, this guy is never gonna go anywhere. Cannot be a scam. Because if he's a scam, his whole life is going out. Right? He's out there, he's been out there for many years. But
Right.
if I would talk to a schmoke around the corner that never did anything that's nowhere, this guy could disappear. Could sell me a $5,000 program and disappear and never hear from him. So at the
Right.
end of the day, you create that trust, and that trust
Totally.
brings you customer.
Yeah. I don't remember where I heard this, but it was like a customer or potential customer needs 7 hours of like interaction with you before they're like ready to buy.
My
And
goodness.
so yeah, whether that's like a sales process or if you have content out there that they can. I think maybe it was 7 hours or like seven pieces. Of just like they need to see you 7 times.
Or
And
we should, I have the solution. 7 hours they need to spend with us to buy from us. Let's do bunk beds. We'll take a nap.
yeah,
Put in the clock. Like we slept together. We're done. Let's go. Buy my
yeah,
kitchen. Yeah. It's gonna be complicated, but it's a lot more. I don't know if you remember the data, but it's a lot more than what it used to be. It used to be you need to back in the day you needed to have like 7 touch points and visual touch points for people to be triggered to buy. That was like 20 years ago. Now seven
yeah,
hours of content or seven
yeah,
hours of
right,
interaction, that's a lot.
yeah, yeah. That is a lot.
So
Yeah.
that's a lot.
And so you're going to be on YouTube, which I really like that. And what about blogs? Are you doing, like, this is I'm pretty experienced with like SEO. I love SEO. I mean, I think that like you said, it's kind of annoying. It's you don't see, the return on it. But I feel like if you're doing content, it's a good idea to, just like combine that with some like SEO, because the nice thing about especially like a localized service, you just all you have to do in a blog is like, oh, like you know, countertops in Santa
Yeah.
Barbara, you know,
So we
and
have
you're tying
written,
it to and then you can tie that like with a link in the blog to like this post that I made on Instagram or YouTube or, you know,
yes.
uh, wherever. And yeah, I think that, it does have a kind of a spiral effect eventually that I think you'd be able to notice.
It creates to people that enjoy reading, and it's important for a lot of people to be able to read, not just visualize it. You can link it to
Totally.
videos. I do think it's important overall, and it goes into everything. Like this conversation that we're having, we would transcript it, put it into a blog. It'd be amazing because
Yeah,
it would also share for people that like to read the information. Now we're moving into an industry that is really short attention span. So it's kind of
true.
the blog is a direction. You Google it, the blog comes up, right? And then you find the short attention span content you need. So I think having a mix in between of mixing between content, written content, reels in between. So people, once they're in it, they don't have to read the whole thing, can maybe watch
Yep.
the video. Like all our landing pages, we have long landing pages with text, but there's an intro video in the beginning. The video is under 2 minutes. It explains what you're on this page for and what are the services. So if you don't want to go down and read it, you don't have to. That's
Right.
one thing. The one that I like for blog the best is really case study. So
Hmm.
it's organizing the content in terms of, and really giving valuable information or about a project or about a client or about an experience, but really sharing, because that's even more impactful than if I tell you what are the best trends for kitchen this year, right? I I I prefer to tell you why this client for this kitchen remodel was like the journey and all this. That's the best kind of blog in my opinion.
Totally.
You're
Yeah.
you're
Because yeah, like that makes it a little more human, relatable. Like versus what you said, there is kind of a tendency to yeah, like oh, like why you want to remodel your kitchen this way in this year is kind of it's like everyone's doing that. There's probably 100 blogs like that. Um, but I do feel like there's something about just tying it into to Google, because like the AI, kind of like shows up at the top, and a lot of times, like especially if you kind of have SEO built into your website and you're doing blogs pretty frequently and you're getting clicks, then Google is likely to like if someone is typing in something like remodel in Santa
yeah,
Barbara, and you're making relevant content, it'll actually like just quote your blog.
for
Like
sure.
yeah, you see stuff like that, so which is
For
super
sure.
valuable. And yeah, just I think maybe even mixing something like that though with like what you're talking about, where it's like okay, here's this case study, but also just like giving it the right keywords and like in this area specifically, and kind of like tying it into that. I feel like that could be a cool strategy too. But
That is really fun. It's really important. You can, if you spend the time doing it, it will for sure bring you benefits.
yeah,
Because, but it's all giving the clients what they want. It's all about being able to hook them. So SEO is super important in that angle because when you search something, it can come up. And after, it's
right.
giving them the content that they like to consume. So having a mix of both within the same page will help out for the client's understanding. You need something to grab him. Can be SEO, can be a video, but if you're using Google, Google and SEO works really well. And then after
Totally.
within this thing, you can write an SEO blog really well written, and then at the bottom you have video where you say what is in that blog, so the guy can read it or decide to look at the video. Sometimes you
Right.
prefer to read, right? You're next to your wife, it's in the evening, you're doing research, you don't want to watch your video, she's watching TV, you don't have headphones. We all have this situation. So then at that point you want to read the article, and when you Google it, that's the article you want to see. Like,
Yeah.
or sometimes you're in the car and you don't have time. You came up with this article and you're like, oh, there's a video. I'm going to listen to it in the car, right? So it's
Right.
all about giving them the way for them to access that information and then make educated decision. But
Right.
a mix of both, I think, is perfect.
For sure. For sure. And, you know, kind of like just content in general, it's a job, you know, like it does take some time. So there's that as well. So
It takes time, and it
um
takes time to also be good at it and be giving the
right,
right information. But once you nail it, you're on a roll.
for sure. Yeah, and we are already past an hour and a half. I mean, I set this for 40 minutes, but you know, I mean, I'm kind of new to this, so you know, organic
Shit.
conversation. That's
Yep,
really what I
exactly.
wanted, anyways. So I feel like, yeah, this has been an interesting conversation. So I appreciate that. I guess where's the to kind of like you know take us out. I'm curious, like what is the 5 year, 10 year goal? You know, if you for like where is Vault going?
The 5 year goal is we're really right now fine tuning all our processes. And the 5 year goal is to go open boutique hotels, boutique stores, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
in different areas where we have a kind of a headquarter that handles the quoting and the estimating and the learning. And then we have small satellite office everywhere that can provide that types of service. The next direction to this is also finding out stores of people that are in their age where they want to exit and then taking over those stores that they need to be within the industry already. It could be flooring, kitchen, plumbing, appliances store, no matter what. And at this point, we would buy them and then plug in our system so they can not just do flooring, but they can start doing everything else.
Yeah. And then would you maybe even like adopt some of the like if they use suppliers that you're not using, or would you kind of like stick with the suppliers that you know and you know kind of
We adopt, like right now, the merger that we did with the two stores, we carry different brands. So we have consolidated everything. So now we carry a lot more brands.
yeah, okay,
And then
cool,
when we go to a supplier that use different ones, of course we'll integrate it, but not only we'll integrate, but we'll start offering it to the other locations that we have.
right,
That's the beauty.
yeah, yeah, that's nice, cool. So your plan is to expand. You want to kind of
The plan is to expand. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
The real plan is to is to help more people with the solutions that we're bringing.
right,
Like everywhere I go, people are be like, "What? What? This doesn't exist." I'm like, "Because I'm not here yet." And people, it's a hard concept to put together. It's a lot of products, a lot of knowledge. So
yeah,
I've had this for the last decade, and that's what keeps driving me. Like sometimes when I'm getting down because, like, let's say cash flow is thing, sales are not going well, and then I meet a client, and then I just go and I talk to the client, and the client, like, their eyes open, like, wow, you can do this. That's what fuels me up. That's what like gives me the energy to just keep on pushing, and that's the difficult part. Like I'll go home, my wife is in a bad mood, "Ugh, everything's destroyed." And then I talk to a client the next day and I'm like, yes, that's why I'm fighting it. That's why I'm still in here.
yeah,
And that's
wow,
so that's really the goal, is to do this for more people basically.
yeah. I love that. That's inspiring. I'm excited for you. Yeah, I wish you well. I hope to see success. Next time I'll
Me
have you on the show, I want to see how many states you're in now.
Let's see. Give me 6 months and we'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
it.
totally.
We'll find out when the next one's gonna open.
Yeah, awesome. All right, yeah.
Okay.
Well, thanks for being on the show. I'm gonna I'm gonna end us out here.
Okay.
But
Thanks, Justin. It was really a pleasure. Let's stay in touch.
yeah, thank you. You too. Oh yeah. By the way, do you want to kind of plug yourself? Tell people where to find you, where to reach out.
Yes, yes. So the website is vault.studio, and then I have a personal Instagram that we're gonna start kicking into gear. That is theo.dosi, THEO Doci is DOCI. And I invite people because I'm going to do there's going to be a lot of fun things because I'm starting the company from the ground up. So I'm going to show the journey of all the crazy things. So people will be able to learn of how to design a website, how to start your social media, how to get your client, how to automate. I'm doing some really cool stuff right now. So I invite
Wow.
everybody to go check it out.
Yeah, that's ambitious.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Yeah, well, I'm excited to stay tuned as well. So again,
Sounds good.
appreciate you having you on. This has been awesome.
Yeah, the pleasure was all mine, actually. It was really, really fun. Let's do this soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All
Thank you,
right,
man. Take care.
t- take care.